This is the murder of Kaitlyn Lynch. Kaitlyn Lynch was born in 1987 in Westchester, New York, to Louis and Danielle Lynch. Kaitlyn's family moved to Irvington, New York when she was still a baby, before briefly settling in numerous states such as Illinois, Florida, and Missouri, where she developed a talent for competitive diving. Eventually, the family returned to Irvington, New York, and Kaitlyn finished her schooling there, graduating from Harsdale High School in 2005 and eventually going on to college and graduating with a degree in criminal justice. Throughout her life, Kaitlyn called her mother her best friend, even after moving to Ohio, where she proudly became a loving wife and mother. Her time in Ohio was spent raising her much-loved daughters, Avery and Ryan. In spring of 2023, Kaitlyn lost her second husband to a medical condition. Although unexpected and devastated by her new husband's death, Kaitlyn decided to do her best and push forward, being that she had two young children to take care of. Kaitlyn was a very determined, friendly, and caring young woman, so it came as no surprise when her late husband's friend was down on his luck, she'd offer him a place to stay in her house. Lance Miller moved from Texas into Kaitlyn's basement. At times, Kaitlyn would invite him out with her colleagues. The arrangement seemed to be going well for a short while. In mid-August 2023, Kaitlyn was on the phone with a friend when she mentioned that Lance had a gun. Moments later, the phone went dead. A report was made shortly after about shots being fired at Kaitlyn's Cincinnati home. When police arrived, they did not see Kaitlyn, and the house looked disheveled as if someone was fighting and refusing to leave. Police quickly came to the conclusion that Kaitlyn was taken out of her home against her will by the same person who stole her car. The ensuing investigation and manhunt spilled across the state line and involved law enforcement from both Kentucky and Tennessee. Officers finally caught up with the vehicle after a chase through multiple counties in the volunteer state. Chatham County Sheriff officer deputies using spike strips brought the car to a halt the next day and arrested the driver, later identified as Miller. Inside the car was a sadder image of Kaitlyn's corpse in the front seat. She was willing to help everyone, the victim's employer, attorney James Hart, told the Inquirer on Thursday. He had fallen on hard times and she offered to let him stay in her basement. Kaitlyn herself had had some hard times that she had recently went through. With two daughters from a previous marriage, she remarried in the fall of 2022, but her new husband died unexpectedly early this year from a medical condition. On the day of the fatal shooting, Kaitlyn, her boss, Ann Miller, and a few other employees from the law firm all went out to drink. Kaitlyn's boss recalled that at first nothing seemed amiss to him, but in hindsight said Miller had rubbed others the wrong way. The attorney recalled that some office people said Miller maybe had unrequited romantic feelings for Kaitlyn, which she did not have for him. She was just simply trying to help her late husband friend out of some hard times. Kaitlyn's family was devastated to hear the news of her death. Kaitlyn's family stated anyone who knew Kaitlyn knew how much she loved being a mom to her two beautiful daughters and how she was always willing to lend a hand. She was funny, beautiful, ambitious, and she will be deeply missed by all. Kaitlyn to just lose her husband earlier this year and then go on to lose her own life to her husband's friend is absolutely sickening. Lance Miller is being held for extradition back to Cincinnati, Ohio. He is being charged with murder, kidnapping, invading arrest, and abuse of a corpse. It's unclear if Miller had retained an attorney. No one is clear what the argument was about between Kaitlyn and Lance. However, one could only speculate that he wanted more out of their relationship than she was willing to offer. Lance was only in Kaitlyn's home for a week before he killed her. It is unsure if her 2 young daughters were anywhere close by when their mother was murdered, or they were away at their father's house. Either way, this is a very traumatic and devastating event for 7 and 8-year-old young girls that is looking forward for their mother to be in their lives and to come home to them every day. Thank God that Kaitlyn had such a loving and supporting family that was willing to look after her 2 girls and make sure that their life and their future will be secure. Kaitlyn had overcome so much in such a short time. The loss of her husband. Maybe she felt helping out her husband's friend will somehow bring some type of healing to her life that she desperately needed. The thing that we do know about Kaitlyn is that she was determined to make it against all odds that came against her. She had plans to go back to school and further education in law. She was fascinated with law enforcement and police officers. She just wanted to make a difference in other people's life. She wanted their lives to be better, and that's exactly how she died, unfortunately. She wanted to help out a man that her husband knew and thought that she could trust him into her home with her 2 little girls. Kaitlyn never imagined that he would turn out to be a monster and repay her in the most heinous of ways. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Kaitlyn's parents and her family, but most of all her 2 beautiful little girls that she left behind. May her soul rest in peace as she is brought back to Irvington, New York, the place that she grew up and loved and had so much memories for her final resting place. Until next time on a Meaningful Talk Crime Doc, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch up with you guys later in the comment section.